And probably it's a bit of a misunderstanding sometimes of Avolta. 40% of our business is F&B outlets. So we have restaurants, coffee stores, burger places at airports. 20% is travel essentials and convenience stores, so things you need on a, generally speaking, low price point. And then 40% is duty-free, where we include more expensive products. But those products are typically the entry point of the luxury. I mean, a perfume that you can buy because you want to give it as a gift, or because you forgot about it, or because it's a last-minute impulse, it's very little effect by some of the trends on the luxury. So yes, there is less sales this year than last year on high-end wine and spirits, but many other products are replacing that. So overall, the sale per passenger, so not only the number of passengers, but the sale per passenger is still improving this year after a very strong improvement last year. So the trend continues being very positive for us.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. And I appreciate the breakdown of the various aspects of the business as well. How much is the success of that high-end, I mean, again, the 40% we're just talking about there, the duty-free shops, the forgotten perfume for Mrs. Sedgwick, how much is that dependent on the tax regime in the country you're dealing with as well? Because I'm just looking at United Kingdom, for instance, and the clamour for changes to VAT for tourists as well. How much are you dependent on how much the local government really wants to extract from your business?
Look, there is one thing. If you have a product that is duty-free, you have a price advantage of 20, 30, 40% depending on the local market. And this is a very, very appealing offer for any traveler. Said that, there are massive areas of the world where the tax-free regime, as it used to be 20 years ago, does not exist. European Union. If you travel inside the European Union, you do not have a duty-free regime. Despite that, our sales on Schengen area are of several billion, which means that if you have the duty-free, you have a price advantage and you attract a certain group of people. But when you don't have that, you still have the convenience, you have the local product, you have the gifting, what I call the guilt factor. I travel more than 250 days a year. When I go back home, I need to bring something. I've been gone for a few days. So, and that many times is the only place where I have the time to shop something. The offer is nice. The offer is many times unique. The price is reasonable. So even if I don't have duty-free, because we call it duty-free, but a large chunk of those duty-free sales are based on, if you want, the convenience of buying at the airport.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier, that convenience then seems to be spreading around a lot as well now, because you've now expanded in other areas, whether it be in Lagos, whether it be in other parts as well. You make note of here just the expansions in areas like Denmark as well, also in Greece, etc. What is it that you are seeing? And I want to say particularly in that EM space, because that's, I say EM, it's actually EMEA space, because that is your biggest growth model right now.
Well, we are growing in all the parts of the world. We are growing in EMEA, we're growing in North America, Latin America, and despite some of the topics we discuss in some economies in Asia, we are growing on comparable basis in Asia Pacific. Look, the world has today 8.7 billion people traveling by air, 8.7. With the growth expected in 20 years will be double. That will be more than 17 billion. Avolta itself has exposure to 2.3 billion this year, so probably in 20 years will be almost 5 billion people going through locations where we have restaurants or shops. We are the best way to get exposure to those passengers, because you need anything. You can fly with any airline. You can go anywhere. You can go alone, with a family, for business, for pleasure. All that doesn't matter. You go through the airport, you go through other our locations we have, and if you need to eat, or you want to eat, or you need to buy something, we are the best choice for you.
Yeah.
That's why continuing the expansion, as you were saying, and complementing the network is part of our strategy. For us, it's key to get exposure to as many places as possible.